A blatant misuse of funds. This is how my Gen 7 Trek Madone was described by Chris Miller and the Nero Show. So this is a short little response video to that of how I acquired this dog of a bike and why I think it might not be a dog of a bike. It is a little portly, 8.2 kilos. It has a ride wrap, has a lot of heavy paint. It doesn't have all the lightest components. It has a lot of force, which you'll see in this video as to why I have force and random red components. And I fully agree. I really should go get the brand new red or the brand new force that's coming literally in a week or two, which I look forward to that. Hopefully that does happen. But we're going to dive into why I think this is not a dog of a bike and why it's not a blatant misuse of funds and why actually I think most people would do exactly what I did. And I think I got a deal on this bike. In fact, I think this is one of the best deals in the cycling experience that's ever been experienced. So we're going to dive in of how I acquired this dog of a bike. So the year is 2019, and I decide I want to get into road cycling. So I end up buying a Trek Madone SLR7 E-Tap. This was not my first road bike. I had already ridden before this and had ridden since childhood, but this is the first high-end bicycle I got. I got it during a Black Friday sale. Originally, the MSRP for this was like $8,500 back in the day, back in 2019, before bike prices were crazy. And I spent an extra $500 getting the cool paint job, purple flip, and it was kind of orange at high angles. But this bike was an insane deal. It came with a bike fit. Project One purchases came with a bike fit from Trek back then. And this was a super cool bike. I rode it a little bit, not enough. I wish I rode it more. But, it was right during COVID and the world was wild. So what had happened is this frame got replaced with a warranty replacement. And how that happened was the SRAM Force chainring was pinned together with pins. It's no longer like that. But one of the pins had come out while riding and actually went into the frame and cracked the chainstay. Trek and SRAM deemed it was either a mechanic's fault or SRAM's fault, someone's fault, and they gave me a full warranty replacement. So that was pretty awesome. I love this bike. It was super pretty. It's like one of the first super high-end purchases I ever made, and I really like the way it looked. So we're gonna jump on to the next bike. And here you can see the bike that replaced it, a T47 Gen 6 Trek Madone with the Alchemy Amplified paint job. Trek gave me this frame, and because I had spent $500 on the previous Project One paint job, they allowed me to pick any paint job. And if you might remember, this paint job was, I think, $2,500 when it came out. So like an insane amount, cost more than most bike frames. And I didn't pay a single penny. Originally, when I built this bike up, I had the original Aeolus Pro wheels on here. You can see the Zip NSWs were on it, but this is actually one of the last rides I ever did on this bike because the ISO speed failed, and Trek knows that was an issue. They tried fixing it with a new pin and some red Loctite, and that's what the Trek Segafredo professional bike team figured out how to fix the ISO speed, but mine went out of spec, and so they actually decided just to replace this whole frame and build up the next one. But I did tons of miles on this bike, really loved it. It was super comfortable. I think my biggest complaint was the bottom bracket wasn't very stiff and it was really flexible, and that was really my big issue with it. But you can see the new chainring here, the red that was given to me. So from the previous bike to now, I didn't really pay anything for this bike, obviously except for the wheels that I upgraded myself. But everything you see was pretty much free. So we're in just for the original price of the 2019 Trek Madone. So that blue and black Madone I got, the second frame, the first crit race I ever did was on that bike, and here's a picture of it. I was actually the winner. I won my first Cat 5 crit race, Border Battle 2023 with the Triple X race team. It was a fantastic race, had a lot of fun. And finally, this was the frame, the last time I got to hold it and see it. It had been taken down, taken apart, because the ISO speed went out of spec. So this was a sad day. I did 5, 6, 7,000 miles on this bike frame, so not really a full life out of a frame, but it is what it is. It treated me very well. Loved the paint job, and was sad to see it go, but the next bike is pretty dang cool. And here it is, my dog of a bike, the 2024 Gen 7 Trek Madone with the crystalline prismatic paint job. Definitely a interesting looking bicycle, but it is my third warranty frame, so let's walk through it. I've gotten, for the price of one original bike, I've gotten 3 frames. One was the BB90 bottom bracket, one was the T47 bottom bracket one, the blue and black one, and then finally this Gen 7. The differences between the Gen 6 BB90 and the Gen 6 T47 really wasn't that big of a difference, but the difference from the Gen 6 to the Gen 7 was a hell of an upgrade. And this paint job was, what, $1,500, $2,500? So I've had literally $5-something thousand in free paint jobs. I've had $9,000 in free frames. And, some might argue like, oh, well, Trek makes crappy bikes. Well, they stand by their product, and they've given me the lifetime warranty, and they've stood by it. And I've had great experiences on these bikes. I've ridden tens of thousands of miles now, and absolutely am ecstatic with my original purchase. I have zero regrets. I still love, those original paint jobs and what those bikes did for me back then, but this new bike is quite the upgrade. And this dog is pretty dang fast. I enjoy it a lot. So next we're going to walk through all the parts and what a current bike would cost. So here's roughly the price for a brand new Madone SLR7 Axis with that same crystalline prismatic paint job. The paint job's actually gotten cheaper since the Gen 7. On this Gen 8 Madone, it's a little bit cheaper, but as you can see, $12,500. Now we have the wheels. The current MSRP for these is around $4,200, but they're on sale for a lot of places because the brand new ones just came out with the new SL hubs. You can get the old set, which I currently have, for $3,200. Now I paid much less. I had a SRAM Pro deal, and I think I said earlier in this video, I got them less for the price of any CRWs or Magines. In fact, they're closer to the Yolio pricing. And as Jesse said, he would rather go with Envies or something like that. I wholeheartedly agree, but if you're paying a third the price of Envies or any of the other high-end wheel sets like Scopes versus these NSWs, I weighed these at 1,408 grams, and they've treated me really well and have stood up to a lot of abuse. So I'll let Jesse Coyle be the deciding factor on that, whether this was a dog of a purchase or a fast purchase. Now, between the first two Madones, the bars fit each other, so that was super cool. But unfortunately for the Gen 7, obviously the old bars wouldn't fit the new bike. So I did have to buy the bars for the new Gen 7. However, I got it at cost plus 10%, so way cheaper than even the current integrated bars from China. So pretty happy, and these are amazingly comfortable handlebars. Now onto my new cassette. I got for $270, brand new, right when they came out because I knew some people in the cycling industry. I did wear out my old Force, and so huge discount there compared to the current price of $450. Now onto the saddle, $325 MSRP. I did upgrade this for my new Madone. However, I got it used for $145, so pretty dang good deal. The Dura-Ace pedals, they're MSRP $320, $209 currently. However, I actually traded some look pedals I had that I got on another bike that just came with them. So I think that's a pretty dang good deal, free for pedals I wouldn't otherwise use. And finally, onto the cages, I bought for $30 for a used set. MSRP brand new, they're $90, currently on sale for $60. So getting roasted by my favorite cycling podcast is fantastic, but I truly don't think this is a dog. I truly think this is a fast bike. I thank them for giving me the time of day and reviewing my bike, sight unseen. The MSRP and all those components is 17, 16, 18,000, some crazy amount, plus tax in Chicago is another, $1,700. So almost $20,000 for this bike at MSRP. But in reality, I'm in for well less than half of that. So is this a dog or a fast bike? Well, I'll let you guys be the judge. Hopefully Nero Show responds. And thank you for your time. I know this video came out way longer than expected. But please enjoy this beautiful paint job that looks absolutely wild. I would take a free frame or two for the price of one. Thanks, everyone.